a healing arts platform. And we started last year during lockdown, trying to find a project or trying to find a way of researching and looking at how we can address the distress, the anxiety, and the trauma that many of us are facing during these times and have been facing for the last year and a bit. So this year, I would like to invite you to do a verse with me that is really about sensing our bodies in space. It's about perception and sensing as sort of the theme of this year's 4 sessions. So I'm inviting you to switch on your cameras. You can keep yourself muted and just speak in your space with us. The idea is actually to feel each other's energy together and moving and speaking together. But you can use my voice as a lead. The sky above me, the earth below me. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. This 4 days, we are actually going to look at what messages does the brain send our nervous system, you know, that can trigger us, right? And how is the body triggered? And so to look at, I think we all know that when the body is triggered or going through or experiencing danger or threat or difficulty, there's a fight and flight, sort of a arousing and mobilizing response in our bodies that happens. There's also a parasympathetic ventral vagus nerve that gives us the option of calming social engagement. In these 3 days, we are really going to look at how stresses can escalate. So generally, we want, as human beings, we want to be in our social engagement system. We want to feel joy. We want to be present. We want to be grounded, mindful, compassionate, curious, and open. But we understand that sometimes things happen that can actually have us move a little bit into fight or flight now and then, but hopefully coming back into the social engagement. However, if something serious happens in our lives, the arousal increases. And the very first hierarchy of these responses is that we can either go into flight or fight, right? And here we can experience frustration, irritation that can build to anger and to rage. And in the flight response part, we can have worry and concern that becomes anxiety, fear, and panic. But what is really still good about this part, this red zone of ours, is that there's a sense of I can do something around my situation. Once the stresses escalate and we move into the blue zone, the free zone of this response hierarchy, then we are feeling I can't, right? Then we are feeling helpless. We start conserving our energy. We go into depression, numbness, disassociation. There's a lot of shame here that I can't move and I feel ashamed that I can't change my situation, shut down, hopelessness and preparation for death and feeling trapped. So one of the things that this sessions are going to look at, how can we work and stay in what we would call the window of tolerance, this green zone. How can we stay in an optimal state? All right. So you might have seen already in your poll that this idea of hyperarousal, where we're going into the green zone of fight and flight, how we become very overreactive, we're very unclear in our thinking, and we become emotionally quite distressed, and how it's really important then to bring ourselves down and calm down. And much of that is done through breath work and mindfulness and grounding. So bringing ourselves back into the window of tolerance. Or alternatively, if we are hypo-aroused, which means we are feeling very frozen or depressed or lethargic or in this blue zone, how we can use mindfulness, breath work, and physical activity, sort of an activation to take us out of the cramp or the freeze response that we might be experiencing. So ultimately, the idea is, how can we stay in this window of tolerance? And our workers, how can we stay in this window of tolerance when we are looking at the elements of the healing arts pedagogies? How can silence, movement, storytelling, and sound help us to either activate us out of the frozenness or to calm us down when we are feeling fighty and flighty? Even though this work is really trying to be as safe as possible, we do understand that people can be triggered. And if the work itself can't calm you down, please contact us and let us know so that we can support you. Because as we all know, triggers are, we cannot really plan for triggers. We can just be mindful and be informed that things like this can happen.
The saying that I wanted to lead us off with is this one by Rainer Maria Rilke, which says, there is only one journey, going inside yourself. And what that implies is that we go inside in solitude, in stillness, and in silence. But my experience has been that we don't like to go there. It's much more comfortable for us to be with others, to be in movement, to be in a place where there's sound. And so I've been developing this model that says we need companions. So the companion of stillness is movement. The companion of silence is sound. And of course, the companion for solitude is community. And that's why in all the ancient traditions, when people first learned to meditate, to go inside themselves, they did so in community. And our happy place provides exactly that. So what we're going to do first is to use some movement, use some sound in order to accompany us into the silence. So I invite you to stand up if you're sitting. I'm going to put on some music. So feeling your feet on the floor once again, which you've done already in the silence. But now notice how it feels as you have a companion, the music companion to let you move. So allowing that rhythm to rise up into your knees, into your hips. Maybe some figure of eights. And rising all the way up through the spine. And then reaching into the sky as we did with Velma. Letting the hands play a little bit. And the elbows. And maybe now moving around your space a little bit, letting that rhythm walk beside you. Exploring your space. Maybe making your movement a little bit bigger, just to warm you up. Or a little bit smaller. Noticing which feels more comfortable for you this morning. Something vigorous, something arousing, or something more gentle that helps us to quieten down. And checking in with your body where there may be little places of tightness. Often it's the shoulders. and giving them some tenderness. Maybe it's somewhere along the spine that needs your caring attention. And with the music as your companion, see if you can allow any self-consciousness to dissolve away. That the music is guiding you and my voice is your companion on this journey towards stillness and silence and solitude. And making your movements smaller. And coming back to stillness. And again, feeling feet on the earth. Just softly scanning through the body, noticing places where there may be warmth or tingling, vibration. Moving all the way up the spine and allowing the crown of your head to be lifted as if by an invisible string. And knowing that you're held upright, just roll the shoulders back and down. And feel the skin and the muscles draping over the skeleton. And now coming into a seated position, whatever's comfortable for you. And keeping that delicious straightness of the spine that you found, that sense you are being lifted up. So allow this companion of your body to bring you into stillness. And then taking a full deep in-breath. And then that breath we call victorious breath. It allows us to lengthen the out-breath and to get that sound, that companion of sound, to walk beside us into the silence. And then let that breath dissolve into silence. Feel how the body feels as it comes into stillness. And turning our attention inwards. There is only one journey, going inside yourself. And yet knowing that we are supported this morning by this whole community. So we can find sanctuary in solitude, knowing that there are people around us and with us. And there are three aspects of a stillness, a silence practice. The first is a kind intention. So get a sense for yourself right now. What would be of most benefit to you? Do you need care? Do you need companionship? Do you need rest? So a kind intention acknowledges whatever is here and what we may need to support ourselves. Maybe you need a deeper breath And the second part of a mindfulness practice is focused attention. And this is why we train the mind, particularly for those of you who are studying. We need to learn to keep our attention where we ask it to rest. So we can use the body, we can use the breath. So feeling the points of contact between you and the surface beneath, your chair, your cushion. Seeing if you can let gravity just sort of melt you down a little more. With a sense that you're being held by something vast, Mother Earth. And the earth is always here beneath us, always supporting us. We simply need to focus our attention on that vast support that is always present. And moving your attention through your body, focusing maybe on a place where there's a little bit of tenderness or an ache. And imagine you could breathe into that place with that kind intention. So instead of turning away from our aches or our difficulties, we turn towards them with kindness. Imagine breathing right into that place. And as you breathe out, soften, open. And if that place was on the left side of your body, find the same spot on the right. Or if it was at the top of your body, find a place towards the bottom of your body where there is no discomfort. And focus there for a while. We often forget to acknowledge when we are okay. We ignore what is good or working well in our lives. But in these moments of stillness and silence, we can bring appreciation to the places in our body that are still vibrant, still working well, whilst also bringing compassion to the places where there's some tenderness. So I've talked about kind intention, focused attention. And for our last minute together, we open our awareness. That's the third part of a mindfulness practice. So sitting as you are in stillness and allowing all the senses to be open. There may be sounds arriving from your environment as well as my voice. Maybe sensations from within the body, a gurgling stomach. You may sense warmth or coolness or tingling. And if your eyes are closed, allow them to open so that you can connect with all of these names and some of these faces on the screen. So knowing that even when we take the journey within, we are supported by a posse, our community, our ancestors, our friends, our family, our team cheering us on to take this inward journey. So if you like to, as we did with Velma, just bringing hands together at the heart as a way to seal our practice, and thanking our companions of music and sound and community as they took us into stillness, silence, and solitude.
Wow, how beautiful. An activation and a calming down, and I feel so much better. Okay, so nice deep breath in. And we start. The sky above me, the earth below me. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. What lies behind me and what lies before me are tiny matters compared to what lies within me. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here.